Welcome to the newspaper review on Cactv. This is the Morning Dew, and we are so glad to be right here on your screen to make sure that we bring you the news making headlines around the globe. So I am Modest Dominic, and with me are my wonderful co-hosts, starting with White.
Good morning. I need to do that because this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it.
Yes,
and
that's
as a matter
right.
of fact, my daddy is in the house.
Hey.
My daddy.
We miss you, Engineer Ola. Welcome on board.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
It's another good day in Nigeria.
Yes,
Thank God for
yes. Welcome back. Thank you so much, everyone, for always staying tuned. So feel free to join us, like our YouTube page, and drop your comments, suggestions. It is highly welcome as we begin. So we'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll look at the quote for the day, and then we'll take the news in full. So we'll be right back. Yes, welcome back. So, White, help us with the quote.
Good morning. Praise the Lord for today. The quote for today is taken from the book of Psalms 34, verse 18. And it says, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit." The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. This passage in the Bible is charging us to take comfort in the presence of the Lord, especially in the moments of heartache. We know that we are going through turbulent times, we are going through hard times, trial moments, challenges here and there. There are mountains to cross, bills to pay. But in the moment where you have all these heartaches and challenges around you, please take comfort in the presence of the Lord, that the Lord is with you wherever you are. The Bible says, "I will be with you. In the fire, I'll be with you. When you're going through turbulence, I'll be with you." So have that consciousness that the Lord is with you wherever you are. You are not alone. And as time goes on, if you don't relent, you are going to be out of that trouble. You're going to be out of that heartache. You're going to be out of that challenge. And at the end of the day, you will give glory to God. Be blessed as you know that the Lord is with you. Hallelujah. Models.
Yeah, thank you so much for charging us with that this morning. So quickly, let's look at the story from the Punch newspaper. And our first story says Dangote refinery imports crude as NNPCL swap oil for loan. Dangote expects crude oil from NNPCL November, begins operation October. $3 billion crude oil for loan deals. Order puts pressure on local supply. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery is currently importing crude oil and expects its first crude cargo in 2 weeks' time. The executive director, Dangote Group, Davakume Edwin, has revealed, although the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited trades crude oil on behalf of Nigeria. Edwin, in an interview with SP Swap P Global Commodity Insights on Monday, said the NNPCL had committed its crude oil to other entities. The Dangote refinery boss did not disclose the other entities receiving the oil company's crude, but NNPC disclosed last month it had entered into $3 billion crude oil for loan deal with African Export-Import Bank. So that's the first story that we have. And my question now is, why do we have to import crude oil when we have it, when we have it in abundance? So
Let me invest my money in one of the biggest refineries in the world, in Nigeria, with the assurance on the back of his mind that we have crude oil in Nigeria. But now, see what the NNPC is telling us. They said we have bargained a 3 billion naira oil deal, with the bank to offset some of Nigerian loans. So Dangote refinery now has to import oil crude oil into the country. We have crude oil in Nigeria. We are talking about refined oil. Look at the policy. There is no continuity at all. You are inviting investors to come to the country. They will come. Let us say Dangote is an investor who has come to the Nigerian economy to trade. Now, we've been looking at it. What is holding Dangote refinery to kick starts? The reasons are coming out now. NNPC is now saying that, we signed a deal with a bank in Nigeria. That is, I think it is one of these African continental banks in Nigeria.
Yes.
That we want to be repaying back loans with crude oil. And you knew very well that Dangote is kickstarting sometimes in August. That was last month. Now you are saying, so Dangote cannot start now until November. But to be able to meet up the deadline, Dangote has decided to import crude oil into the country. It's like a masquerade. Who is pursuing a madman? Who is mad? It's the masquerade.
I think their mode of dressing can be similar.
We don't
There's a whole lot we need to pay attention to in this country.
What is really going on?
Yes.
Last year we spent over $23.3 billion on importation of refined petroleum to the country, and yet we are unable to meet up the demand. But Dangote now has 650,000 barrels per day, and when it is refined, we have about 55 million barrels of crude oil, liters of crude oil in Nigeria, which is more than sufficient for Nigerians.
Exactly.
But now Dangote has to go out there, import crude oil, refine it. Then the ordinary man on the road who is going to purchase the petroleum products from the pump,
yes,
the price will escalate.
Of course, because the crude oil was being imported
at the rate of the international markets.
Obviously.
So President Tinubu has a lot of job to do. He's been trying. We see what he has been doing. He has to look deeply into the NNPC, so that the NNPC will not frustrate Dangote refinery. And
will not frustrate the regime or the government of our president Bola.
No, since he's the head of the administration of the Nigerian government now, he has to do something. He has to look into it holistically. Yes. He has to overhaul NNPC too and see what is exactly going on. There are many Nigerians who are richer than Nigeria today. We can see the statistics. It's all over the paper. It's not a new thing again. But are we going to sit back, fold our hands? We are talking of, because we are importing fuel, that is why the pump price is going on. Somebody said it economically that, look, even when Dangote starts refining petroleum products in Nigeria, yes, the price will still be high.
Because the whole essence of this refinery was for us to have
system surrounding the refining is still as the same as when we are buying it from. We are sending the crude oil to other refineries outside the country.
So which means the whole essence at which the refinery was created for
is nowhere to be found.
All right, we'll take a look at the second story that we have from the Punch newspaper, and this says youth protest Mohbad's death, demands justice. The police force public relations officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi has said the force will look into the petition made by the late singer Ilerioluwa Aloba, aka Mohbad, against music promoter Samson Balogun, aka Sam Larry. A petition written by the late Mohbad over an alleged threat to life by Sam Larry and others surfaced online days after the singer's death. The petition alleged that Sam Larry and 15 others stormed a video shoot where Mohbad and another artist, Zlatan Ibile, were working and unleashed violence. Sharing a copy of the petition on his X page on Tuesday, the FPRO tweeted, "We will look into the alleged police negligence on this case." So, further story you can check on the Punch newspaper. So let me come to you, White. So now, as of yesterday, I learned there was massive traffic along Mabiakuta because of the protests, youth coming out. In fact, a whole lot of Nigerian youth are coming out on this, and not just the youth, those who have also been a victim in are coming out to speak out that there has to be justice, and I'm so happy with what Adejobi is coming up with, and I hope that something is being done and done urgently. Yes. So what's your take on this?
I think this protest is it's not a new one. We had protests in this country before.
Exactly.
A lot of them, and the results. Well, I'm yet to edit or bring about the results of the protests. Okay, but this one in particular is coming out because it's peculiar. It's special in a way. It's special in the way that it's coming from the music industry of Nigeria, and it's also as a result of what many other who are in his shoes or in other fields, okay, other spheres of life, have been experiencing. And now this particular issue has been bringing out a lot of reactions, a lot of witnesses, a lot of testimonials, okay, of people who have gone through
the same thing.
It's just like a case of rape, okay. If somebody is raped and
one is bold enough to come out,
others will now be bold enough and say, okay, I also have this, okay, I can speak out, and, similar experiences like that. So this that youth are protesting for, I think is it's a good one.
Exactly.
But where I'm going to is the security system of our country, which is in the hands of the police. Okay, so the police need to do more on the security of lives and properties, because that's their primary job. If arrests are not, we thank God that these arrests have been made, and now these arrests would not have been made if there had not been this too much of a noise. Exactly. If people didn't make this much noise, police will not have, come into action.
And I think a panel should also be set to, look into all of these record labels that we have.
Sorry, I beg to differ. I beg to differ for panel. Panels, we know the issue of panels in this country. It always doesn't end well. Yes, it always doesn't end well.
Honestly,
anything you have a panel for, we'll talk and talk. And at the end of the day, everybody will get tired and will go back to your tent, Israel.
And this is one advice I also want to give to the youth out there, to anyone who is going into any record deal. You need to be patient. See, because of the eagerness for fame, the rush for fame, we just want to, okay, whichever record label signs me in, whosoever gives me, let me just sign in. And then you don't pay attention,
well,
you don't know.
You really might not blame anybody for doing that. 500 naira, any amount we then give me, I go collect. I mean, you are not getting the picture now. So because of the level of survival, I need to survive.
So people whatever it is that I can do
anyhow. They don't, if you want to go into a business, you want to go to any deal, you need to sit down and talk about it. Hello, what are you going to give me? Okay, I'm offering this service, you are going to pay me this. We go into MOU.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but it's still important that we pay attention to that. It is very, very important. So you don't end up going into something you find it difficult to come out of, because other people, we have good record labels. We have good record labels who have been, like the Kenny's Music. We have a lot of artists who came out of there, and then we didn't have to hear of any all of this, and they did their part.
Even the good record labels, they still have some skeletons in their cupboard.
Of course, but then they know how to play their games.
He has the likes of Two-Face now, who was under Kenneth's music. He will have his own story to tell.
Well, but
he has his own stories to tell. Even an engineer will be able to at least some record labels which some old musicians signed under.
Back then.
There are some histories of some irregularities. I don't know, engineer.
You see, a record label owner is not a new business in Nigeria.
Of course.
In those days, we had foreigners. They were the owner of Decca Music.
Yes.
Sony Music.
Sony Music. Yes.
And all of that.
Yes.
You know, and then something like this has never happened in the history of Nigeria.
Yeah.
But one thing I want people to know is that actually there's a rift between the artist and the record label owner. That is one thing I want you to note. You know, when you want to sign an artist as a label record owner, there should be an agreement. It has happened several times in the past. Some of them will come back and say, you know, because, you know, it's a very risky business.
Yes.
That you are investing your money as a promoter.
Yeah, like a black market.
On this particular artist. And when the record comes out, if it is a hit and there's a lot of money, the artist will come back and say, I want to renegotiate.
Yeah.
But when there is no hit and the record is a failure, the artist will not say, I want to renegotiate. You have to bear the loss as the record label owner. But in a case like this, the artist said, oh, I want to pull out. I do not enjoy this trade terms again. I want to pull out. Then there came a rift between two of them. And at the end of the day, this guy is killed. So we cannot say much on this particular case because so many evidences are in hidden. They are not on the surface that people will be able to say one or two things on them. I think the police that is involved now have to investigate the matter thoroughly and find out what really happened and who are the culprits in this particular matter.
Yes.
And then the police will now know what to do, you know, after that. Yes. That's my take on that.
Yes. All right, so quickly, let's take a look at the last story that we have from the Punch newspaper. And this says government plans renovation as miscreants vandalize Lagos pedestrian bridges. Okay, some pedestrian bridges were erected in some part of Lagos State have been vandalized by suspected miscreants, leaving commuters at risk of plying the expressway. An investigation by Punch Metro on Tuesday revealed that the pedestrian bridges were not fully utilized by commuters, giving suspected miscreants the opportunity to vandalize the bridge. Our correspondent who visited the Ladipo and Oshodi pedestrian bridge observed that some major parts of the bridge had been damaged. A commuter identified as Adeze claimed that some hoodlums removed the galvanized steel and aluminium and sell them to iron dealers. This is part of what we're talking about, that they're suffering. They're suffering in the land, and people they just want to anything that comes their way. But this is just not it.
I agree with you that it is due to poverty in the land. I don't agree with you.
Okay, so what do we call this?
We have lots of agents in Nigeria now. We have Kai. We have LASMA. We have LASTRA. We have lots of agents that they have specific duties to attend to. For example, public properties.
Yes.
Even sometimes when there's riot in the land, they go about and destroy public properties. We've seen that, much of that in Lagos. And the same thing, okay, pedestrian bridges are now being, you know, the area where they are now attacked. We have LASMA. You know, if you go to Oshodi now, you see LASMA, people are standing by. But most of these agents, they use all these people we call miscreants as their errand boy.
Okay.
Sometimes you see traffic police. You know, if you go through Obakran, But then we get to the end of that bridge roundabout of Abakran.
Yes.
As if you are going on the right and going to Agege on the left.
Yes.
You will see their agents there collecting money on behalf of these last man.
Yeah, last man people.
Collecting money on behalf of police, traffic police.
Exactly.
So which means those boys, the police cannot arrest them because they work for them. So these boys, if they have no work to do, what would they do? They will go after public properties.
Yes,
so Lagos State government has monitoring units. That is for road. If you are applying express road, being out corridor, apply BRT corridor with a private car, you'll be stopped and they will arrest you.
Yes.
But these people, they have their agents too. You understand now? So when government has an agent, like last man is a government agent, and last man too has a touts as agents collecting money from them.
Agents.
So what do you expect?
As their own internal agents.
What do you expect? A last man will contributing about 20,000 naira weekly contribution.
I heard something, sir. I beg to differ and I stand to be corrected. But I heard something. It's a rumor, actually, that these agents, our government agents, have those, like you said, the miscreants that reports to them that does business for them. And they also, as officials, maybe like cadets or corporals,
also report to
they also remit to their superior. And they have a target.
Well, I don't know about that. All I know is that they have agents working for them on the road, because we have monitoring. Last one, you see, they have their boss monitoring the express. That okay, you are not supposed to apply the express in the morning.
So really, what is who is the agent in charge of those public properties? For instance, the overhead bridge.
The government is listening to what we are saying.
Yes.
So the government knows what to do. Who are the people that are responsible? You understand now?
Okay, so these things are not supposed to be taken in the first place. For example, if those people are there, for example, if you go to the police station, they will tell you bail is free. But it's really not free. In reality, is it free? It's not free.
So it's not. So sometimes we'll say the government, but our people are ourselves.
Of course.
You are responsible for a certain particular duty to do.
Of course.
And then you are not performing the job very well.
Of course.
The abuse will go back to the government.
Yes.
Not you. So we should be able to address the issue that okay, those people that are representing all these government agents working on the road, those people are responsible, and indirectly the government agents are responsible.
Exactly.
So if government has said that okay, you want to sack 300 last mile workers, if we say hey, why do you want to sack them? It's not
good.
They'll be jobless, and then we want to protest. But see what they are doing on the road.
See what they are doing.
All right, quickly I'll cut you up there. So let's go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll look at further stories that we have making headlines. So stay tuned. Thank you.
This particular program is actually meant to provide mass education opportunity for us. So the first thing you need to consider under presumption phase preparation by schools is that number one, there must be thorough cleaning of the environment. This is very, very important. It will be easy for the government agency to properly do what we call the contact tracing. It's preparation by the pupils and students themselves, because all of us need to prepare. We need to be on the same page to make sure that we are ready to go back to school.
Stay tuned. This is still the newspaper review on Morning Dew, and we are still right here on Cactv. Please feel free to drop your comments, suggestions, and let us hear your view and your opinion as regards the news that we are hearing right now. Okay, so we'll take a look at the story from Vanguard newspaper, and the first story on Vanguard says presidential poll: Abuja can't be 37th state. Atiku Obi tells Supreme Court. Says 25% in FCT mandatory. Ask Apex Court to nullify Tinubu's victory. Insists Pepsi judgment perverse. Miscarriage of justice. INEC didn't transmit result electronically. Why we are at S Court, which is the Supreme Court, LP Abuja, determined to nullify the election of President Bola Tinubu, candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and his counterpart in the Labour Party, LP, Mr. Peter Obi, yesterday lodged separate appeals before the Supreme Court. The two candidates in the appeal prayed the Apex Court to set aside the judgment of the presidential election petition court, PEPC, which affirmed Tinubu of the ruling All Progressive Party Congress, APC, as the winner of the February 25th presidential election. Specifically, they urge that the lower court in its judgment because Tinubu did not get at least 25% of votes cast in the Federal Capital Territory. And that's the first news that we have from Vanguard newspaper. And I'm still wondering why we are going back and forth on this, you know. Let me I don't know where to start from, you know. It just like we know what the victory is, we know who the victory is. See, there is always a winner in every competition.
Okay.
Give it to who has won, even whether it was done rightly or wasn't done rightly, whatever it is, the court has given the order. So why do we have to keep going back and forth on this same case?
We will still go and end this conversation on the table of Engineer Ola. But let me just say this. I will just say this few words. Now, if the foundation is not spoiled, if the foundation is spoiled, what can the righteous do? Okay. Now, if the wall is not open, lizards do not crop in. Do you understand? Now, as much as I would have advised the presidential candidate of the PDP is Atiku, and one of the Labour Party, which is Obi, to please come together with the sitting president, the current sitting president, as much as I would have advised them to please cooperate with him. At least this should not be a do or die affair. But still, I like to look at issues on the two sides of a coin, because there are always two sides to a coin. Okay? Now, they think if the winner of the presidential poll wins legitimately, I mean legitimately in quotes, we all know what legitimacy is. There will be no context for, oh, I don't believe you win, I don't believe it won't. If it's a parallel win, do you understand? So, but if somebody is contesting that, oh, I don't believe that this guy
over
won,
time,
I believe there are discrepancies. Even in, if we do not talk about the election day, February 25, of the irregularities that happened, what about the tribunal also? We saw there are some things that are not really clear to us. Okay, although it is a court case, you might not really understand all what the lawyer is saying sometimes when you go to court, but there are still some clarity that you give to the layman there that makes him to understand. But as far as I'm concerned, this Supreme Court appeal is is really not necessary. To me, not necessary, because it will just be a waste of time. We are just dragging ourselves in the mud day in, day out.
All right, let me cut you there. So, Engineer Ola, I know you have so much to say as regards this.
No, not much. No, not much. You see, what has a beginning
Must have an
has
end.
an end. You understand? Now, you see, in Nigerian politics, since 1960 when we got independence, it has been like this. It's been rolling. You could remember the case between Awolowo and Shagari. They go to the Supreme Court. And after that, Shagari started his own government. And you could remember the same thing again after Shagari. There have been lots of litigations involving election in Nigeria. You know, we have winners, we have losers. The appeal court has decided. And then they are still contesting that, okay, no, I disagree with this judgment. What they are fighting for is the fundamental human right that they can still go to Supreme Court.
Exactly.
So we cannot predict what the judgment will be. But let us be on the safe side and sit down the look and see at the end of the day what will be the outcome of the election.
I love that statement. Sit down the look.
So many points they have raised that the court has given. You know, the judgment was for about 12-13 hours.
Yes.
Exactly.
It was comprehensive enough, detailed enough. They touched every point. But again, you paraded Nigerian elder statesmen, men as son. Some of them are son. They came to represent Atiku Abubakar. They came to represent Obi. They came to represent President Tinubu. And the appeal court said, no, we do not agree with all the evidences we have brought. If you know that we have illegitimate voters in what ward, in what local government, in what areas, what are the numbers? So the matter is in court. So we can't say anything much on that. Let's wait for the judgment.
Engineer, can I please chip in one very small question? Now, in the arguments, they are arguing that whether the FCT is part of the states in Nigeria. We have 36 states.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the FCT. So now the thing is, the argument here is now that is the FCT the 37th state or is an independent state or what are we going to? Because now, according to the constitution, 25% in the FCT
and
must be acquired.
No, and FCT.
And
is that clause there?
Okay.
And means togetherness. In addition.
All right.
That's what it means.
Okay.
No, this thing has been clarified many times. That you see, a state must have a governor. A state must have House of Assembly, members of House of Assembly. But in the case of Abuja,
does not have a governor.
It is the National Assembly
Okay.
that will decide Abuja's matter. And Abuja does not have a governor, but a minister.
Yes.
That is appointed not by election. So Abuja does not have a different status. But Abuja is like a state, but it's in the Federal Capital Territory.
Okay. The headquarters of
under the administration of the president of Nigeria. So he decides what befits Abuja. You understand?
Okay.
Very well. But every state has a budget. What is the budget of Abuja? Who prepares the budget of Abuja? Is it the governor? There's no governor in Abuja. We have only minister in Abuja. So this case has been decided many times, many occasions.
And I guess as a result of this, I think Abuja residents are also clamoring for their own governor.
Yes.
They are clamoring for their own governor and for their own house of Senate
Abuja
now.
cannot be. Abuja is considered. That is consideration that it's the seventh state of Nigeria. But in reality, it's not a state. It's a federal capital.
It's a federal capital. Okay.
And are you saying that because you are living in Abuja, you are better than people who are living in Lagos?
No,
it cannot be. And the same thing again, he has said that, that you said the election is full of fraud. For 13 hours judgment, which I followed, said, prove, give us number of that particular word that there's irregularity.
In writing,
and give us evidence. You cannot come with a third-party statement and say, in the news I heard that Mr. White always put on glasses. Let him come and say the reason why he puts on glasses every day.
With evidence.
I cannot say it because Mr. White is alive. He has to come and defend himself.
Yes, of course.
So you cannot rely on third-party witness You understand? Everything was specified and clarified. But we can't say anything on that matter. It's their fundamental right to go back to Supreme Court and say, Mogba. The judgment,
And if they have genuine evidence,
yes,
let them present.
Yes, the court will rule. I don't have anything to say on that.
Exactly.
Because any matter in court, whatever you say on that matter, you have to be very, very careful.
Okay.
You understand? Because you are not a judge.
Exactly.
So let's wait for the final judgment from the Supreme Court.
All right. Thank you so much for shedding more light on that story. So we'll take a look at the story that we have on Guardian newspaper now on foreign scene. This says Zelensky accuses Russia of genocide and urges world leaders to attend peace summit. Volodymyr Zelensky has told the UN General Assembly that Russia is committing genocide in Ukraine and urged world leaders to attend a peace summit to help stop the invasion and future wars of aggression. Appearing in the Assembly chamber in New York for the first time in person, the Ukraine president used the opportunity to try to galvanize support for his country's plight among many countries, especially in the global south, many of whom have sought to sit on the fence in the face of the full-scale Russian invasion. Okay, so I think I will stop there for that story. So, Engineer Ola, I'm sure you understand more of this story and why he's, craving for peace and hoping that peace will all come together between this Russia and,
Now, you see, this war is a proxy war between America and Russia.
Okay.
That's what we can say. That is the proxy war. America is not coming on the surface that are fighting Russia. But America has assembled European warriors, don't let me say countries, against Russia for the reason that Russia has invaded Ukraine. And then we all know the reason behind the invasion.
Yes.
You understand?
Now Volodymyr is seeking for
Ukraine was
peace.
part of Russian Federation until they got their independence. And there was an agreement, and this agreement was not being followed by the Ukrainians. That is what is coming from the side of the Russians.
Okay.
And this war broke out. You could remember that there was a time Trump came out and said that if I was still the American president,
yes,
I would have spoken with Russia and there wouldn't be any war.
Yes, of course.
But now, Biden cannot say I want to withdraw.
Because the war has started already.
Because the war has started already. And America is being careful. They don't want to attack Russia. We are not praying for the Third World War. It's not going to blow any good wind for everybody.
At all.
You understand? Russia cannot come out with all its military might to fight the Ukrainians. That will be catastrophe. People of the world have been helping Zelensky to fight this war. They have been giving him, and we heard about fraud, corruption within the military. Some chiefs were sacked, some were replaced. I don't know why America is still supporting this particular war. Russia is engaging China. Russia is engaging North Korea. Russia is engaging Iran indirectly to assist in this war. Now they are now shifting the war to Africa. Because there's no reason for us to believe that the coup in Niger, who is not sponsored by a foreign power, foreign power in the West, because of the Nord Stream pipe that was attacked and destroyed. Now you want to ship to Africa to get your energy because you don't want to buy energy again from Russia. So the war is expanding. We have to be very, very careful. So what this young guy is saying, in essence, today, will become history tomorrow. And if you're not careful, it will drag us into the Third World War. And you cannot tell Russia now, okay, you invaded my land, you have captured certain areas, you have to withdraw. When at this particular moment, Russia is now conducting election in that occupied areas. So it's a game. It's a process war between the West and the East.
Yes.
We have to be very, very careful.
Exactly, our African leaders. The way they present things to our African leaders and they welcome it with both hands, not looking at the details of the relationship, the business deals, the agreements they go into with these countries. For instance, the Russia invasion now, let me say invasion, business invasion, it comes like a deal, okay, like a business deal, and then you make some agreements, and then you go
that's
into
something I want to tell you. Before independence given to Ukraine, there are lots of uranium in Ukraine. You understand? There are lots of uranium in Ukraine.
Wow.
Before, and Russia said, okay, if you want to go, okay, these nuclear materials, you have to ship some to Russia.
Okay.
And some were left in Ukraine. They got wind that, okay, America is trying to build a nuclear plant. Already there's a nuclear plant in Ukraine, the biggest in the whole Europe is in Ukraine. Now, the Russia has gotten the wind that, oh, the Americans are trying to go back and build nuclear weapons in Ukraine. Now, Russia will say no to this. We don't want America to be at our backyard.
Yes.
That in case of any war with America, they quickly bring the equipment and destroy the whole Russia.
Okay.
So Russia is being careful. But instead of Zelensky, to throw the part gently that, okay, I have to look before I jump. But instead of that, it has now started this war, relying on the Western power and America to sponsor the war for you. And American account is diminishing. America is selling its weapons, making money from this particular war. So it is now in the hand of the United Nations to say, okay, no, let's stop this war.
Exactly.
Let's call for peace.
Yeah, let's call for peace.
Let's call for peace and dialogue.
All right, thank you so much for that. So we'll take a look at what we have in the world of sport. Yes, our sport analyst is in the house. Yes, in the person of White. So he is going to take us in the world of sport. So quickly, over to you, White.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome. Yes, this is the world of sports on the Morning Dew this morning. Things to know about the 2023 UEFA Champions League competition. This season's UEFA Champions League will be the 68th since its inception and the 34th since it was branded. Now, the 2023-2024 UEFA Champions League season would be the last time a group format is implemented in the competition, as the organizers have set up a certain Swiss format to replace the usual round robin, which will kick off next season. This week, football fans will be treated to fixtures among clubs that haven't been in the tournament for years. Well, that is not us now. If you want to ask me, okay, the likes of Newcastle, Royal, Antwerp, Real Sociedad, Arsenal. Well, wonderful. Arsenal is in the list. SC Braga will make a return to European football after a long time and will face elite clubs in their respective groups. Now, also in the news of sports, we have Mbappe is on the backlash from fans after confronting our Nigerian striker, Terry Murphy. Okay, now PSG got their Champions League campaign off to a winning start on Tuesday as Kylian Mbappe penalty set them up for a 2-0 victory over Borussia Dortmund at the Parc des Princes. The French champions had dominated the first half without overly troubling the Dortmund defense, but they went ahead 4 minutes after the break when Mbappe scored a spot kick awarding for a Niklas Süle handball. Achraf Hakimi had a memorable second, and PSG could have won the Group F encounter by a far more handsome margin in the end. The result immediately puts them in control of the group after AC Milan and Newcastle United draw earlier yesterday. So the Champions League also continues today. Arsenal will be at home with PSV, and Real Madrid will be at home with FC Copenhagen. Galatasaray is taking on FC Real Madrid is taking on FC Union, and Galatasaray is taking on FC Copenhagen. Bayern Munich will be at home with Manchester United. Benfica is taking on Salzburg. Braga is taking on Napoli. Sociedad is taking on Inter, and Sevilla is taking on RC Lens. And those are the fixtures for tonight in the UEFA Champions League. Da 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 da. We are the champions. So that's it for sports on Morning Dew this morning. Thank you very much, Modoc.
Thank you so much for shedding more light on the world of sport, and thank you so much for always doing a fantastic job. Our borrowed.
Namaste. Namaste. Namaste.
All right, this is where we call it a wrap for today's newspaper review on Morning Dew and Cactv. Yes, we make sure that you have so much fun listening to the news making headlines around the globe. And thank you so much for always staying tuned, and make sure that you follow us, all our social media, and drop your comments and suggestions, and we will be so glad and delighted to read and hear from you. So to this end, we say thank you so much for joining us, and your last word for the people, Engineer Ola.
Be Nigeria.
Bye, Nigeria.
Bye.
All right, Dwight.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shego White is my name. Please don't change the dial. Cactv is a TV to watch. And please don't forget, you can bring up all your advertisement, your program, events, and your businesses to our office. Check on our profiles on all social media, Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram, Cactv. We'll be glad to do business with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I remain your host, your very favorite face on Cactv. Shego White is my name. Thank you for being with us today.
Yes, I remain Modot Dominic, and to this end, we'll say thank you so much for joining us. We'll come your way same time, same station tomorrow. Have a lovely day ahead. Stay blessed.